So I'm going to do my makeup just because I feel like it. And if you want more of like an in-depth video, let me know. But otherwise, I'll just get started. But I have to put my hair up because I cannot do my makeup like this. Okay, so now that my hair is pulled away from my face, you can start with your makeup. But before you start with your makeup, honestly, the most important step and the first step out of anything is making sure that your skin is prepped and that you have a good base for your makeup to go on top of, because your makeup is only as good as your skin. Honestly, the better your skin is, the better that your makeup will actually sit on top of it. And I know that it's not like a one-to-one thing for everybody. Like, everyone's skin is different. For me, I just did my morning skincare routine and I know that my makeup is gonna sit perfectly fine on top of it. In the morning, I will just wash my face. I pat my face dry. I will use my toner, which is the Laneige Cream Skin Toner. And then I use my hyaluronic acid serum from Good Molecules. I'll go in with the Caudalie Vino Perfect Serum. And then once that dries down like a little bit while my skin is still tacky, I will then go in with my moisturizer, which nothing fancy. I just use the Pond's Dry Skin Cream Moisturizer, the one with the blue lid. And I've used that for years. It works perfectly fine. I don't intend to switch to something else. Whatever works for me, I stick with it typically, because it's taken me that long to actually find something that works so well for me. I don't want to rock the boat with anything when it comes to my skin. So once my moisturizer settles in, I will go in with SPF. I use the Skin 1004, 1004. I honestly don't know how it's meant to be said, but I use their SPF. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like a moisturizing one and it has like a blue cap on it, and that SPF is my favorite. I've used it for well over 2 years at this point. So once that settles in, I am ready to do my makeup. I'm not going to do a full coverage foundation today. I am just going to go in with a skin tint, and one of the skin tints that I've really been loving lately is the ciele Tint and Protect SPF 50 tinted serum. I got this back in August and I have been loving it. I honestly think it actually has great coverage for a skin tint. And so if you're looking for something with SPF in it, decent coverage, I would highly recommend this. And the shade match for me, if you know me, you know I'm pretty good at shade matching for myself. So I have this in shade 5 medium, and it is a pretty good match. So what I will do is I will just start with one side of my face, comes in a dropper, and then I put like 3-ish drops on my skin and I will blend that out. Depending on how much coverage I want, I'll do more or less. I do find that it builds perfectly fine on top of itself. Typically, you want to put your foundation more towards the center of your face and blend it out. But if you're looking for more coverage in certain areas, like for me where I was looking for it more towards my ear, I will just tend to focus there. So this side is pretty blended out. So you can see this cheek versus this cheek. Now to blend out this side, my nose. I don't go that far underneath my eyes because I don't want my under eyes to be cakey. The more product that you have under your eyes, the more it will crease or the cakier it will look. And so I don't put anything under my eyes. Just make sure that they're hydrated. And then when I go in with concealer, I do a thin layer and blend it out. Again, the thicker your concealer or the more concealer that you put on, the cakier that your under eyes may look, or they will just be more prone to creasing. And I think when it comes to creasing under your eyes, it kind of happens no matter what. I mean, if you have lines, it's going to crease. I don't really believe in something being creaseless. Just maneuvering my roller so that I can get close to my hairline. All right, and that's that. It is blended out. I think it has a really nice finish, and I do think it's a good match to my neck. Once I finish my makeup, I think it will just tie everything all together. So now that my skin tint is blended out, I will go in and do a little bit of underpainting. I don't know how much of a difference it makes. I've just done it for the past several months that I kind of don't know how to not do it at this point. So maybe next time I do my makeup, I will not do it, but this time I will do it just to show you. So I go in with the Rare Beauty liquid contour in the shade Solace, and it is this cool toned brown, and I will put it kind of in that area. I start with a little bit and then I blend it out. I only ever use that much on those parts of my face, and I blend it out with a Morphe E4 brush. It is this angled contour brush. I'll just blend that out at an angle. Tend to blend it into my hairline, and you don't want to blend it down. It's just going to drag your face down. Then I will do it on this side of my face. So now that that is blended out, I want to add some warmth and dimension to the perimeter of my face. So what I do is I take that contour and I put some of it onto the back of my hand so that it warms up. And I will take my brush and I will just get the product onto there so that it disperses. And I will add that to the perimeter of my face. So around my temples and into my hairline, just to add some warmth. Honestly, I think it's more for the dimension because this is more cool toned, and you typically want to add warmth back into your face with bronzer. I will be going in with more blush later, but for now it is time to set everything else. So I go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in the shade Tan with a big fluffy brush. This is the Real Techniques 201 powder brush. We'll just get a bunch of the powder on there, shake off the excess, and set my face. All the cream liquid products stay in place. With any smaller parts of my face, I will go in with a smaller brush. Just because I want to set my nose, set my upper lip, between my brows. So it's time to add some warmth back into my face and to set the contour as well. So I go in with the Dior Forever Nude Bronzer in the shade 30 Tan. And my bronzer brush, which is the Morphe M527 brush. Very tried and true, this brush. I've gotten like 3 maybe over the many years that I have been doing my makeup. And I love it. So I go over the same areas where I put contour and just add some color back after I used the Charlotte Tilbury powder. Adding some warmth to the perimeter of my face. I don't know if it's coming off on camera, but the colors look really good in person. Also add some of my bronzer down my neck just so that, I don't know, it kind of just ties itself together. Now that the bronzer is on, I will go back in again with the Rhode blush with the same side of the brush, and I will put it on top of where I already put my blush. And that is that. That's pretty much my face. I do go in and set it. I use the MAC Fix Plus setting spray so that it melts everything together. So now that the Fix Plus has settled in and dried down, I go in with a makeup finishing spray by Skindinavia. This is the brand that originally collaborated with Urban Decay to create the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray. And several years ago, I found out from Carly Bible, Miss OG Makeup Queen on YouTube. She talked about the Skindinavia makeup finishing spray and how you can just buy the finishing spray directly from them and get more bang for your buck, because this giant bottle is pretty much the same as a bottle of Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray would be. And fast forward several years now, Urban Decay reformulated their setting spray to not include the technology, the formula that was used in the original setting spray that was patented by Skindinavia. So it doesn't perform the same anymore. But if you were using the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray and you notice a difference and you don't like it, try this. I think you'll like it. Shake it well. Now just let that dry down. So now that that is done, I will do everything else. I will fill in my brows, I will do my mascara, I will do my concealer, and I will put on a lip if I decide to. I already have a lip stain on, but Yeah. I do my concealer last because if you know me, you know that my eyes get very teary. I always got those Q-tips on me. I do my concealer last because if I did it right after my foundation and then I set my face at the end, my eyes would just tear up and they'd be streaming with tears and my concealer would be wrecked. So I do it very last. My makeup honestly still looks fine. And once I set my concealer, I will go in with blush again on top of it, just so that if any powder kind of drags my face down, I will lift it back up with blush. So for my brows, I go in with the NYX Thick It Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara. I like it better than whatever they have as a brow gel. I think that because it has these small fibers in it, because it is a thickening brow mascara, I think using this on its own does so much for my brows. So I use this in shade Black and I will comb it through my brows. And I tend to brush them up and out. And that is a brow with the gel on, that's with it off. And then I literally use the other side of this to brush my brows. Because they're brushed up, I will brush them like out. If I still notice any gaps in my brows, I will go in with the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. Use this for years. Don't intend on switching anytime soon. Right now that brows are done, I will go in and do my lashes. And shocker, I'm using the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. I have been using this on and off, mostly on since like 2018, 2019. Gone through many of these over the past several years. The sun is in my face, but mascara is on. Whoa. Gonna move on to concealer now. Oh my god, this lighting is something. Okay, hopefully that helps. I don't know if the lighting on me is weird now. But now that it's time for concealer, I know that earlier I was talking about not putting too much on when you are doing your concealer to prevent it from being too cakey. So what I do is that I just put a little bit under my eye and then I actually let it dry down for like a minute and then I will blend it in and out. So I will put concealer under where I have lines under my eyes so that it doesn't immediately like sink into those lines. So I will like look up kind of like this and then look at the lines under my eyes and put my concealer under there. And I do like a thin layer. Same thing with this eye. I will look up and then put a thin layer of concealer under there. And now I will just let that dry down for like a minute. So while that's drying down a little bit, I will talk about the products I go in with as soon as I blend my concealer out so that it stays and doesn't crease too badly. So as soon as I blend it out, here we go again. Oh my god. So as soon as I blend it out, I will set it with the Tower 28 Get Set Translucent Powder. It is just that. It's a pressed translucent powder. And I will put that under my eyes with a small domed powder brush. And then once that settles in, I will kind of bake, but not really, with the L'Oreal Infallible Blur-fection 24-hour blurring, brightening, loose setting powder in the shade Pink Light. I have been looking for a pink powder to use under my eyes for a little bit now, and I decided to try the L'Oreal ones out. So I have one in the shade Pink Light, and I have one in the shade Pink Medium Deep. I'm still testing both of these out to figure out which one's best for me. I feel like lately I've been leaning towards Pink Light a lot, but I will take a powder puff, dip it in the powder, tap off any excess powder, and then just like press it under my eyes, again, to prevent any really noticeable creases. It's inevitable that there are gonna be creases, but that's what I do to minimize it. So those are the powders that I use, and these are the tools that I use. So I use the House Labs concealer brush. I use the Real Techniques. I don't even know what brush this is. It is so old. The labels have come off the brush. I literally think I got this brush in 2015. It is whatever this brush is. And I use the Sonia Kashuk Powder Puff. So first I will blend out the concealer. When you're blending this out, you don't want to go all the way under your lower lash line. You want to stay a little bit below, right before some of those lines start under your eyes, and keep it there and blend it out. So what I do is I will tap consistently in the corner where the concealer is, just to get it to blend in place. Again, staying pretty under the fine lines that are under my eyes. And then I will start to tap and blend out. So this one is blended out. I will do the same thing for this side. So just blend in place, just tap consistently. And then once that is dispersed, you just start to blend out. And that is my concealer blended. By the way, I didn't even talk about which concealer I was using. I used the Jouer Essential High Coverage Liquid Concealer. They used to sell this at Sephora. They stopped, which sucks, but I just buy it directly from the Jouer brand website now. And I use the shade Honey. All right, so now that the concealer is blended out, I want to set it. So I go in with that Tower 28 Get Set translucent powder. I take that Real Techniques brush, dip it in the powder, tap off the excess, and then I will just set my concealer. Now that that powder's been applied, I will go in with the L'Oreal powder and the powder puff, dip it into that powder so that it looks like this. I tap off the excess so that it looks like that, and I just tap it under my eyes. When I put this powder down though, I really want to press it in. Same thing for the other eye. Really press it in. All right, and that is the powder. And then I just want to get rid of any of the excess powder. So I go in with that brush that I used to put the translucent powder under my eyes, and I will just dust off any of the excess powder under my eyes. And those are my under eyes done. Again, because some of that powder did drag down, I'm going to go back on top of my blush and add more so that it covers up a little bit of that powder and it just kind of all blends together better. Going in with Sleepy Girl by Rhode again, that same brush, taking it onto the shorter, denser side of the brush so that I can go on top of the powder where necessary and add more blush. This also will add some dewiness back to that area of my face so that it doesn't look too dry because of the powders that I just added under my eyes. And that's my makeup done. I don't think I'm going to add anything to my lips because I already had a lip tint on, so I don't really need to add anything on top of it other than my chapstick, which I will always add unless I lose it. I can't find it. Also, after I finish my concealer, I will go in with under eye mascara if I'm feeling like it. So I am today. I use the Tartelette XL tubing mascara. I only ever use a tubing mascara on my lower lashes because otherwise my mascara will run and it will just smudge under my eyes. And with tubing mascara, that doesn't happen. So my favorite tubing mascara is the Thrive Cosmetics tubing mascara, but I found the Tartelette tubing mascara on sale, so this will do. And that is my makeup done. I will take my hair down and we'll be good to go. I'm getting really close to the camera, but I want you to see the finish of it, I guess. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want more of an in-depth walkthrough, let me know. If you want more of like a glam look, let me know. Oh, hey. So I thought this video was going to be part of a vlog, but I'm editing right now, and this video on its own is coming out to be almost 20 minutes. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have an attention span to watch a vlog that would potentially be 40 minutes. So I'm just going to post me doing my makeup as a standalone video. And for that reason, this is me closing the video out because I never did that in the very last clip. So if you have any questions about any of the products I used, any products I didn't use but you're interested in wanting to know how I use it, or any questions on any of the brushes or tools I used, feel free to ask. And if there's anything else you want to see, whether it's a different kind of makeup tutorial or walking through my products or whatever it may be, let me know. But I hope this quelled everyone's questions about how I do my makeup or just interest in wanting to know how I do my makeup. And I hope this helps. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching.